Hey everybody, I'm that one person, and welcome to the Spongebob Squarepants movie game. It has been far too fucking long since I have recorded anything for YouTube. I apologize. I think it's been at least a year, maybe 2 years by now. I think the last one I recorded was 2021? I could look it up, but I don't care enough. Because frankly, I have kind of an excuse. This is like my 6th attempt to record this fucking series. I swear to God. I have tried time and time again to get this to you much sooner. Things kept getting in the way, things kept happening. It was awkward. I'm getting to it now. I'm committing to actually doing this. Because there were some where I recorded a couple episodes and then just fucking bailed. It's a long story. I'll get into it later. Probably the same episode. Regardless, this game, same developers as the other two licensed games? We played 3 licensed games. Shit. Same developers as Battle for Bikini Bottom, Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. It's like the same everything. It's very familiar. But this game was made, let's just say differently, of a different quality than the other two. We're just gonna roll right into it, and you'll see what I mean very, very, very quickly. I mean, like, it's not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but it definitely has its quirks, to say the least. Like the cutscenes. You'll see. Once this loads, I mean.
Welcome to our little tale of woe, triumph against impossible odds, terror, and managerly responsibility. Our story begins in the calm waters above the town of Bikini Bottom. As we descend beneath the waves, we find another day. Wait a minute! Hold your seahorses!
Right, that cutscene was fucking awful. But yet they have these ones, like the other ones from the other games.
I can't believe this is happening here! It's horrible! Oh, thank Neptune, my manager's here!
Talk to me, Krabs.
It started out as a simple order. A Krabby Patty with cheese.
So what went wrong?
When the customer took a bite, no cheese! Ah, this has never happened before!
Get a hold of yourself, Eugene. I'm going in.
Okay, so, like, as you've already seen, for some reason this game doesn't do the same cutscenes, like the fully animated ones that we saw in the last 2 games made by these developers, Heavy Iron Studios. But then sometimes it does, for some reason. I don't know the full story, but I heard the major reason for this whole weird whatever that's going on with this game is because it was being made, I think, alongside the movie, like at the same time. So obviously, since this was technically before the movie came out, so they didn't have like all the resources and everything. They couldn't just take the scenes from the movie and throw them into the game. So they kind of had to like recreate the ones that they had using what they had. It's very awkward and weird. That being said, that is one of the smallest issues with the game. We'll get into some of the more obnoxious ones a little bit later. But for now, that's pretty much the whole issue with the cutscenes.
Or is it just me?
Again, I don't know the full story, I don't know what's up with it. But either way, I'm glad that it's not actually the scenes from the movie, because I would get a fucking copyright strike, like, immediately. So, you take the good with the bad, I guess. Obviously the fucking slideshow cutscenes that they made in fucking MS Paint or whatever aren't the greatest. But hey, it's not the worst thing that the game has to offer. because these are in the game. That was a way more smooth transition than I was thinking I was gonna get, but whatever. Those little treasure chests are used to unlock extras. They aren't for progressing the game at all, but they are still a collectible, and they are the main reason we're probably not going to do 100% of this game, because this game is fucking ridiculous. I mean, they're one of the two main reasons. There's also some other shit that we'll talk about later, but those extras, like, they are... Some of them are ridiculous with how you have to find them. Like, you wouldn't even think that some of the things that you have to do would even be possible in the game, or be something you can even interact with in the first place. It's a lot. Regardless, this game is very awkward just in general. The game, like I mentioned it before, the quality of this game is just in a weird middle ground. Like, it's not a bad game by any means, but at the same time, it's not quite to the same quality as the other two games by the same developer, you know?
Manager coming through.
It's hard to explain. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just hard to explain. It's hard to comprehend where this game lies on the quality spectrum. Anyway, cutscene.
Who are you?
I'm the manager of this establishment. Everything is gonna be just fine.
I'm really scared, man.
You got a name?
Phil?
Come on, Phil, stay with me. I've only got one shot at this. Gotta have the right tools for the job. Bingo. Now I want you to do me a favor, Phil.
What?
Say cheese.
The beginning. A little yellow friend awakes from his slumber and prepares for the biggest day of his life. Yet, despite his dreams, he is not honored with the manager position of the new Krusty Krab 2. So he sulks off to drown his depression in ice cream at the local Goofy Goobers. Across the street, jealous of Mr. Krab's success, the diabolical Plankton hatches Plan Z. He steals King Neptune's crown and frames Mr. Krabs for selling it to the far-off and dangerous land of Shell City. Let us now join our heroes in the midst of their self-pity.
There's another cutscene after this, so I'm not going to start any conversations yet. But it's super weird how this game flip-flops back and forth between fully animated cutscenes and slideshows, you know?
Hey. Hey, buddy. Come on. Wake up.
Huh? Where am I?
It's 8 in the morning. Closed. Go collect your friend and get out of here.
Hey, buddy! Come on up here and join the party!
Spongebob!
Okay, yeah. First off, I would like to point out, one of those cutscenes, one of those slideshows I really love, just because of how terrible it is. The one where he first wakes up, like, gets out of bed, it's very clearly just, like, random stock art of Spongebob, and I appreciate that the developers tried their best, but I mean, goddamn. At the very least, they could have, like, taken a screenshot from an episode or something, and not just thrown it together. I don't know, it's so bad that it's hilarious to me, that one slide. And on the subject of things that are worse than they probably should be,
Don't laugh at me.
my work ethic.
The manliness.
I am fucking on point with transitions today. Earlier, at the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that I have recorded this six times. Let's go with 6 times. I think I'm gonna go 6 times. It's been a long journey. And now I'd like to go through it all with you. just so that you know what I have been doing while trying to record this single game. Because, good God.
Spongebob!
What's up, Patrick? You have got to try this new dot broom game.
Dude!
Where? Whoa!
Okay, so it starts off, I think, like, near the beginning or middle of last year, when I first tried to record this. I believe I was still taking classes at the time, because I remember one of my friends in that class had offered to edit this series for me, like, for free of charge. Things fell through, not between us. I mean, we don't really talk much nowadays, but that's just because we don't really get the chance to talk much, and I would love to hang out with him again. But he was stretched for time and couldn't really find time to do it, and I just felt bad having him do it for free, so we just kind of amicably parted ways on that plan. So that was the first attempt to record this series out the window. I think I was like 3 episodes deep at that point.
Hey, it's you two again.
I missed you guys.
I remember at another point, I tried to record it again, but just overall I wasn't very happy with the progress I was making. Like, I don't know, it just didn't really click with me, so to speak. I wasn't proud of what I was making, or at the very least I didn't think it was okay enough to be released. I think that one was also like 2 or 3 episodes in. That got fucking thrown out the window again. I think that happened one more time, and then the 4th time, I was doing pretty good, actually. Like, I made it to, like, the 3rd episode. Like, I was starting to record the 3rd episode, but I wanted to do one little check and adjust things before I did it, and I realized something fucking horrifying for me. The audio levels were completely fucked for both of the first 2 episodes. And I just didn't want to fucking go all the way through with just the first episodes being all fucky and then the rest being just fine. So that's another set of the series thrown out. And that one was devastating for me because I was actually kind of remotely proud of that one. And then there was the most recent attempt, which was like... Well, no, the second most recent attempt, which was like yesterday, I think. And like, I was doing this... I was around here-ish, and I was doing fine, but I just kind of... I don't know, I just kind of lost it. Like, I just couldn't figure out what to say. I just went blank. And that was super awkward and weird, and I ended it there.
Patrick, if you bring me more Goofy Goober tokens, I can grant you the card.
I want to talk about this, but I want to...
Boy, I love whatever that move is.
You will. Just bring me more Goofy Goober tokens.
I want to talk about that for, like, after I finish with the full fucking story about what happened with this series, so give me a second. So yeah, I got to, like, around this part of this episode, and then just fucking completely choked. Metaphorically, not literally. And just didn't know what to say. And that was fucking thrown out. So that one was painful. And then finally, like, the 6th attempt, the one that happened the most recent, was today. This one is by far the best that one has gone. Which is ironic, because it's also, like, the shortest an attempt has lasted. I was going through the opening cinematics, and then I fucking dropped the GameCube controller, and it was super loud on the audio thing. And, like, I like to have the full fucking intro for you guys, so that way you can get, like, the full experience as if you were playing this game yourself. So that kind of ruined that, and I just scrapped that one immediately. But yeah, besides that last one, it has been a fucking journey trying to get this shit to come out. And we're still only just starting. I apologize for all of this. I apologize for how long it's taken. I apologize that I've failed so many times to record this. Just generally, I'm sorry. That being said, back on focusing on the game itself. As you just saw, we were fucking cut off from moving forward until we get Goofy Goober tokens, which is this game's equivalent of golden spatulas. This is where things become a problem, because this game doesn't have anywhere near as many levels or anything like that as Battle for Bikini Bottom does, but they still wanted the game to be around as long. This is where we run into something known as padding. In essence, when a game doesn't have enough to actually be as long as the developers wanted it to be, they'll either block you off from going forward until you do some stupid challenge thing. I'm describing this poorly. Padding is pretty much making a game longer without actually adding any in-depth content to it. And this game has so much of it, as you are seeing right now with this little combat arena challenge. Sections like this are really just here so that way you can spend more time trying to get more Goofy Goober tokens, so that way you can unlock the next ability, which you need to play the next level. And this happens, I'm pretty sure, every single level in the game, except for maybe like 1 or 2, and even then I'm not completely sure. Regardless, this game has a lot of padding, and on top of that, some of the things that they use for padding is way more difficult than it should be, which in and of itself is a form of padding. So it's literally like padding on top of padding. If this game was a mattress, it would be insanely comfortable, but it isn't, so it's kind of obnoxious. We're just gonna fucking keep pushing on, and we're gonna try to get to the end of this series without me losing my mind, because I've had to re-record this series so many fucking times up until this point. And I will try to not go through too many of these, like these specifically the Battle Arena challenges, because they're so fucking boring. I mean, I hate to say it, but believe it or not, this game doesn't have the most in-depth combat system, as I'm sure you can tell. So I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. I might even just straight up cut some of the padding, just so that it's not too obnoxious for you. But I will try my best. I will say, some of the challenges that the game is padded out with later are just absolutely insane. Like, the only way I could figure out to even complete some of the later challenges is by doing things that I'm not even sure if they're intentional, and feels more like a glitch as opposed to something that's supposed to be how you're supposed to beat it. So there's something to look forward to, some crazy shit like that. So this game is... like, I'm talking a lot of shit about this game. It's weird, you know? I've said it already, but... like, I don't want to be too mean for this game, because it's still a good game. It's very clearly well made. There was clearly a lot of passion put into it in a lot of places. But, like, some of it's just a real pain in the ass.
brought me enough Goofy Goober tokens, you may now use the cartwheel move.
I need to stop talking during cutscenes. Someone yelled at me about that in the YouTube comment section.
Time to spin? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy!
You'd better get going, Patrick. There's lots to do.
Yeah, someone was yelling at me in the YouTube comment section because I was talking during the cutscenes in Portal Stories Mel. But hey, an excuse then. Things were happening. It's a long story. Go watch that series. It's a fun series. And you'll find out what was happening. It's only 2 episodes long. It's fine. Anyway.
Hey, wait a minute! Who are you?
Don't worry, Patrick. You'll meet me later in the story.
Oh, well, I guess that's okay then.
Like, that right there is a prime example of why I feel the way I do about this game. On one hand, they put in the time and effort to record something like that because they knew it's ridiculous that he would just be talking to Mindy despite the fact she hasn't showed up yet. But at the same time, if they knew that was going to happen, then why not just not put padding in the first place? And then you wouldn't have had to do that. It would have made the game better as a whole and not been as difficult and made the game more expensive to produce. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's like, they clearly put time and effort and thought about a lot of things, but at the same time, there are just some things that shouldn't have been put in there. I don't know. Now I can't even fucking keep track of what I'm saying. This game is making me lose my mind! Breathe. Calm down. I'm just a little bit frustrated, you know? Both because the game itself could have been incredible, and it came out to be pretty great still, but with some big issues. And also just, I have been playing this game way too fucking much, and I haven't made any progress. Like, if this fucking stage didn't feel like I was losing my mind enough on its own without the state that I'm in right now, then I mean, holy shit, just imagine what I'm going through right now. It's not a big deal. Just need to chill out a little. Also, I should probably address the little star in the top right of the screen. You can upgrade abilities in this game, which is really weird and doesn't feel like it fits in. But I mean, fine, that's cool. Or so it would seem at first. We're gonna talk more about that a little bit later. And I've been saying that we're gonna talk about things a little bit later a lot. But you know what? There's just a lot of things that we have to talk about a little bit later. At the very least, I think so far I've addressed everything I said I would talk about a little bit later. Being what I have gone through trying to record this series, and also, what was the other thing? I think just the awkward... No, I was talking about how things get much worse than just the cutscenes. Like, the cutscenes are on the lesser end of the spectrum of this game's problems. And, like, don't get me wrong, the cutscenes, like the non-animated cutscenes, suck, especially because I'm pretty sure one of them is used for the ending, which is not satisfying at all, and is probably incredibly disappointing for more than just me. I know that it was sad when I got to it, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. That's all besides the point. We're just gonna keep going on. I'm gonna keep going forwards, and you're gonna deal with my bullshit, I guess.
There you are, Patrick. I've been trying to find you all evening.
It's 8 in the morning, Spongebob.
Oh my gosh, 8 o'clock. I am late for work. Mr. Krabs is gonna kill me.
Oh, Mr. Krabs.
Back at the Krusty Krab, King Neptune confronts Mr. Krabs about his alleged thievery. He asks if there is anyone present may vouch for Mr. Krabs' character, and our yellow knucklehead McSpazatron shows up to accuse Mr. Krabs of being a horrible person. King Neptune zaps Mr. Krabs, causing Spongebob to sober up quickly. He selflessly volunteers to journey to Shell City and retrieve the king's crown. Freezing Mr. Krabs in place, King Neptune grants a 6-day reprieve so Spongebob and Patrick may attempt to retrieve the crown. King Neptune's daughter Mindy provides Spongebob and Patrick with a magic mirror through which she can communicate and assist our heroic duo. We continue as Spongebob and Patrick arrive at the paddy wagon.
I don't really have much to say after all that.
SpongeBob, Patrick, it's time to start your journey. Drive the paddy wagon through Bikini Bottom to the edge of town. This road will take you through Bikini Bottom to the edge of town. Don't let the paddy wagon take too much damage, or you'll have to start again.
Our journey begins. Epic, heroic, daring, valiant, courageous!
SpongeBob, you're driving a sandwich.
Not just a sandwich, a Krabby Patty.
Cheese!
Anyway, this is one of my favorite level types in the whole game. But at the same time, these stages are also where the big problem of padding reaches, like, the worst. We're just gonna go through this normally, but I'm just gonna spoil this right here, right now. After every single one of these stages, you unlock the ability to go back to these stages and play a harder version of them. Sure, that's fine. That doesn't sound like too much of an issue. There's 3 different challenges that you have to go through on these stages. There's a time trial, there's a ring challenge, and then there's an even harder time trial. The ring challenge and the second time trial are the biggest problems here. The ring challenges are just a pain in the ass because you have to go through... Have you ever seen gameplay of Superman 64? It's like that, but on a car. Like, that's the best possible way I can describe it. Just Superman 64, going through rings. Except there's an incredibly strict time limit, and if you don't go through every single ring in order without missing a single one, that's it, you lose immediately, all the way back to the beginning. And the time trials are just ridiculously tight. Like the second time trial, I mean. The first one's fine, you can still lose them, but it's not like the end of the world. But the second ones are insanely tight. And it gets so much worse on the other type of level, a slide level. If you remember in Battle for Bikini Bottom, there were a lot of slide sections in that game. And there was also Sand Mountain, which was just an entire level dedicated to that. Sand Mountain is like the worst level in the game, and I will not agree with anyone who disagrees with that at all. Like, it's just, the slides in that game aren't very exciting, and they're just a pain in the ass to get through. But in this game, it's fucking absurd. One of the time trials for one of those levels, as I said before, the only way I could beat it was by doing something that doesn't even look like you're supposed to be able to do that. Like, it feels like you're breaking the game, and the worst fucking part is, even if you do it that way, you're still gonna beat the stage with, like, seconds to spare. Literal seconds. Like, I don't think I've had more than, like, 5 seconds to beat that one final stage. Or that one stage, that one slide level. It's fucking insane.
You've of town, and now you can go on to the next part of your journey. Here's your reward. Come back again if you want another
I do not want another driving challenge right now. In fact, I don't want any more challenges right now. Because I think now would be a good enough time to end this episode. I'm just gonna let the next few cutscenes play out, and I'm just gonna end this one here. So, we're gonna get through this game and this recordings attempt. Because I've tried this so many times, and I don't want to start over again. Please don't make me start again.
With the chaos of Bikini Bottom behind them, SpongeBob and Patrick begin their long journey towards Shell City. However, with SpongeBob gone, all is not well. Plankton is now selling the Krabby Patty at the Chum Bucket, and with every purchase, customers are getting a mind-controlling bucket helmet. Squidward has discovered Plankton's plan to create an army of bucket heads. Will Squidward save the day? No. On the outskirts of town, SpongeBob and Patrick meet some of the charming locals who tell them they will not last long outside the city. But our friends do not listen. They should have listened. Our heroes are now stranded in a vast desert with only their feet for transportation.
Anyway, that's about it for this episode. Thank you to everyone who decided to stick around. I'm sorry it's been literal years since the last time I've uploaded one of these. But I'm gonna get back into the swing of things. Hopefully.
Plankton is using those radio towers to broadcast his evil messages across the sea. SpongeBob, you have to find a way to shut those towers down.
Regardless, I will see you in the next episode after this cutscene is over.
You have enough Goopy Goober tokens. Now I can teach you the bash move.
Now I am the master.
Wow! Thanks, Mindy!
Those radio towers are broadcasting Plankton's hypnotizing messages. If we don't do something soon, every creature in the sea will be under Plankton's control. You have to go into the desert and shut them down.
Isn't this the really dangerous desert that no one has ever returned from?
No. I think that's the desert next to this one.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll have those towers shut down in a jiffy.
Alright, now I'll see you next time. Peace.